and I will turn off my Facebook. So that's the step. So we have all the steps that need to happen to get it to go. We're live now. How's it going, Sabelle?
Hey, James. I'm doing amazing. How are you?
Awesome. I'm amazing as usual. I'm always amazing. I like to um, say that as my way of being when somebody asks me, rather than saying, "Yeah, I'm okay," or
That's true.
"Meh." I don't want to say it meh. I want to say I'm
I agree.
amazing.
I agree.
You know, having an
Funny.
amazing day.
It's funny that you say that. I was listening yesterday to the podcast, the Being podcast, Chris
Mhm.
Doris and
Right.
Cordelia Gar.
Yes. Yeah.
And I just love Chris Doris's mission
Mhm.
and his tagline, today being the best day of your life.
Yes.
And
Yes.
he
Yeah.
chooses it. He said, you know what? I can choose to consciously create my day
Yeah.
every day. So
Exactly.
he decides that
Exactly.
every day is the best day of his life. He used a D word that I don't use, but I love it.
You don't use the word damn?
Not really.
Or you probably and you don't drop F-bombs all over the
No,
place.
I don't.
No,
I
okay.
don't. I used to be very against those words. I guess
Uh-huh.
I still am, but the way I am against the word is different. I love beauty. I love everything that is beauty. And when we use the F word, the D word, I don't see beauty. I see
Uh,
abuse. I see violence.
mm,
Maybe I overthink it or I've overthought it for many years. But no, I love using beautiful words. So I don't use the F word or the D word.
yeah, I will occasionally use it to emphasize a point, but I've found that at some points in my life, I've been around my friend group, my peer group, where it was just used as the all-purpose adjective, F and this, F and that, F, 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 it's all over the place. And that sort of diluted
The message.
the effectiveness of it as being something that you say for shock and awe rather than something that you just say as a general purpose filler word.
It does distract me. It distracts me.
Yeah.
Whenever I hear it, your message can be excellent, but for some reason, it just stops me. It blocks my mind. But it has to do with, again, we talk about not being non-judgmental. I don't judge the
Yeah.
person because I know it's just common language for people. But I
Yeah.
would rather use beautiful words for my common language.
Yeah. I like to think of where I might put that word, or I might put a filler word, or just an or an ah or something to fill up the sound.
Yeah.
I like to strive to take that out as much as possible when I'm speaking.
You know what I'm thinking right now?
What's that?
I'm thinking that I like to build up people, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And if I use the B word, the D word, the F word, I'm not sure I'm building up the person. And if you want to be just creators, what do we want to create? What do we want to build? Beauty or non-beauty? We want to choose everything. We're conscious. We consciously create. We consciously choose. So if I have the choice, you give me like a array of beautiful words. The English language is beautiful. There's so many beautiful words. So I would rather pick a nicer one.
Are there some all-purpose rough and ready filler words that are used in the French language? Like the rough and ready French people, like, you think of, I don't know.
The equivalent of the F word is the P word in French. I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
But in France, we use it as people in the US would use F word.
Just an all-purpose
or the M word. There is M word, like it's the S word, not sex. Sex is not a bad word for me, but the SHIT.
Okay.
We will use the M word for that. I'll spell it MERDE, and it means literally poop, but like Anyway, so our conversation is not very polished today, but it's cute. It's beautiful.
Well, you know what's interesting is depending on where you grew up. For me, growing up Mormon, there was a very strict code of words you did not say, and you would never say the shit. You would never say that. You would never say the f word. You would never say anything like that. But we had our own, or you would actually never even say God, like in the name, taking the Lord's name in vain, like, oh God.
And then, yeah, it's in the Bible.
Yeah. And but we had our own substitute words that we filled in. So gall was something I would use. Gall, or like golly instead of God. Or what was another one? Heck.
Yes, heck, yes.
Instead of hell. Instead of hell.
Heck,
instead heck. Oh heck. Or actually, some people would say HE double toothpicks.
Yeah, I think it's fun. It's fun in a way because the word you use, usually, language expresses, you try and express what you're feeling inside, so your emotions. And so I think whatever word you use show the passion or things that are going inside of you. Mm-hmm. And it's true that the words we use have to see with our upbringing. I grew up in a home where my mom was very anti bad words, and kids and the society likes to use very bad words. And
I think they like to use it sometimes to trigger their parents.
We would make sure we never use those words in front of my parents. And I think I'm happy that I don't use them. I don't miss not using them. It's just I have very good friends who use these words all the time. And I'm not judging. I won't, but I love them anyway. So
yeah. One other things I was thinking of while we were talking about this is I'm not sure even how you pronounce it. Is expletive or expletive? It's like where it's an expression of frustration, and a lot of times it's accompanied by blurting out a quote unquote bad word, right? But I was thinking Stacey Bayman talks about this, and I notice this with myself. I'll give you an example. The dishwasher in our apartment. Sometimes I'll load it up and I'll close it, and the button doesn't work properly, and so it doesn't start. And I'm like, oh.
Yes,
right.
Frustration.
That frustration, even if you're not expressing it in words, just that thought, that intention is kind of unuseful. And actually go back to the podcast. I listened to that podcast too when I guess Chris Doris was talking about his refrigerator broke.
Yes.
Right. And so it's the same thing. So like my dishwasher.
That's true.
It's like how angry are you, and how angry do you need to be, and how can you make this the best learning experience ever for you?
What can you make out of it? And I love that, we know Steve Hardison, our ultimate coach, so we know how fantastic he is. But I just love the story that Chris Doris and Cordelia shared about him having a flat tire in the desert, and how use that moment to build up somebody. But as you were talking, I was thinking about something else. I was thinking about, I think I lost my train of thoughts. I should have, because I was completely present with you. I thought I was like, it might come back, but I would say it's really the practice of being in a positive state of mind. I know the frustration you were talking about. I refer to it as the upsets moment. And I recently took a course. It's a landmark forum, and in one of the courses we talk about the upsets. How will our life look like if our life looks like if we don't have those upset moments anymore?
Right.
Because it's costly, right? We're upset or frustrated because we have a flat tire, circumstances, things that are outside of us that we can control. And we get upset, maybe because we can't control them.
Right.
So how about what do we need to do? Who do we need to be in a constant state of blissfulness, of content, of it's okay.
It's okay, and I'm going to learn whatever lesson I need to learn from this.
Whatever lesson, because in my faith, for example, we say that God works all things out. There is one popular verse that is used all the time, Romans 8:28, saying that whatever happens, good can, we can have some good out of it at some point if our focus is on God. So the frustrations, if I look at the frustrations in my life, they all end up being positive things, or we refer to them laughing because it's an opportunity to learn a lesson. It's an opportunity to grow because we have overcome something. So it has enabled us to be more creative, to use our intelligence. Because we are faced with a challenge. So it's an opportunity to grow.
Yeah, one of the things that Steve says that really impacted me quite a bit is he said, we called it Hardison's Law. And he says, no matter what happens, I'll find the gift.
Yes.
I'll find the gift in it. Yeah. Yes. And that's, I think about that with, I was reminded of right before this, I ran to the market because it's just right down the corner. And so I find myself in there every day. And I remember one time, because it happened again today, I have coffee with heavy cream. And so I have to buy the heavy cream, either whipping cream or whatever. And the brand that I usually buy was not there. And I'm like, oh.
Upset.
and I'm angry that it's like I'm thinking the supermarket did this to me, or the company
Why
did.
They're stuck. Why? How are they managing their stock? Right?
Yeah, they're clearly doing this to make my life more inconvenient.
But how long did it last? How long that feeling? How long did it last?
It didn't last too long. This was a couple of years ago. So I sat with it, and I'd already been working with coaches and thinking about this thing. So it wasn't right away. I would say it was, an hour after where I finally said, well, okay, why am I thinking like this? This is interesting that I am thinking that this is somehow all about me. Yeah. This is somehow all
make it about us. We turn it. I was also listening to a wonderful interview of a woman. Her name is Dr. Forgot. She's an Indian psychologist, and she wrote amazing books about awakening. And she was saying that we make our life difficult because we make everything about us.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The me monster. We take the things that happen, like you went to buy your heavy whipping cream, and it wasn't there, and you make it already about it. So he said, how about assuming that everything is okay? How about getting out of ourselves and having a greater purpose? Because it's ultimately the word, everything we're, how can we be happy? Like, I realized that when I make things all about me, it's about me, my happiness, me, I was miserable. But when I started focusing on serving, on the greater purpose, I found happiness along the way, right?
Yeah, right.
Because it's outside of me.
Right.
And my middle son, Noah, was telling me recently, Mom, you don't get angry anymore, or everything is just fine.
That's remarkable that he's noticing that. That means that
they are.
The changes are real.
Yes, all three of them. And it's a joy. Even myself, right? The circumstances of my life right now are not the best. For some people, it can be like devastating. I saw some people who were just a mess because of what was happening, what is happening in my life. If it was happening or it was happening to them, it was just crazy. But I find myself being the happiest I've probably ever been in my life. And that is just amazing. That is amazing. And I attribute that to, my growth, coaching, investing in myself.
Yeah, right.
So
yep.
I will keep investing in myself, investing in coaches. And yeah, I desire to do the same for others. So
right, yeah, to help
in
others seeing this. I had a long conversation with my kid last night about, and I tried to summarize the way I'm thinking to not make it so the kid thinks I'm in some weird cult or something.
Yes, yes. I'm sure some people think it's a cult. I've had that. Like, I'm not really sure what you're doing, right? Is it Christian?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, the beauty of it is it's not denominational at all. It's sort of the principle.
Yes.
It's a universal. These are universal principles, and yeah. And so if that's the cult, I don't want to join that one.
I said if love, because I say love is
yeah.
my religion. If love is a cult, well, I am in a cult.
I'm all in with that. Yeah.
Anyway,
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
There was something else I was going to mention. Oh, actually, just as far as going to the store, and maybe it was the shirt I was wearing, because I walk in all proud with the shirt on, the rock and roll shirt, but or maybe it's just that I'm in the attitude that I'm observing what's going on in the world. I'm observing my thoughts, and I'm looking at other people like I'm fascinated with what they're doing, and looking at other people and sending them blessings, maybe even if I'm not directly saying it to them. I'm mentally saying, and people are smiling at me. They're interacting with me. They're laughing. They're saying hello, and so that's a great way to be, rather than being the inflation and everything's so much more expensive now, and they don't have my brand of heavy whipping cream.
There is nothing you can do about it.
All right. So any last words from you?
The last word for me would be this book. I posted it on my Facebook, on my page yesterday, The Myth.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That's the newest book of
that is a thick book. How long is that?
But I mean, every word. I started it last night and had to go to bed, but it's just amazing. This guy, Gabor Mate, if you don't know him, I really recommend that you do. He wrote 3 amazing books, and if you go on my Facebook page, you will see I refer the books. He's amazing, and I am writing my book, and in the preface, I thank him because I say that he saved basically my life when it was very hard. So I am very grateful for him, and his work is just amazing.
And I saw the post, and it deals with healing trauma.
Yeah, actually, it's not like this is the myth of normal. So just how we live in a society where everything is normal, but trauma is not normal. Healing, illness is not normal, and how regular medicine will just separate the brain and the body. When you're sick, you go to the hospital, the doctor. They don't ask you how you are emotionally, when usually a lot of the illnesses that you suffer with originates in your mental state, emotional state. Anyway,
yeah. We'll have to talk about that more tomorrow. But I
would love to. It's passionate.
So actually, we're out on the Facebook, and I